Hi everyone, my name is Amber and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the debut books from April and May that I'm looking forward to reading. I do this video almost every single month. I did admittedly miss April's video, but that's because of all the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment. I was kind of thrown off of my normal schedule. I really enjoy promoting debut authors because I think it's very important, and I also think it's very important during this time or these times because they're not doing their usual book tours and book talks. A lot of release dates are being changed, so I really want to spotlight a few debut authors and let you know about the books that are coming out or have already come out in April and May. First one I want to mention is Incendiary. I do have an advanced reader's copy of this, but I haven't yet read it. Like I said, my April reading was just kind of thrown off track by the events that are going on at the moment, so I didn't get around to it, but I will very soon, hopefully. This is YA fantasy. In this one, the main character was kidnapped by a king. She is someone who can steal memories, which I think is why he wanted her. She is rescued from the palace by a group of spies and she becomes one of them. One day her commander is captured and she has to go and get him back. I am really looking forward to reading this one. It's a shame that I wasn't really in a fantasy mood during April because I was really looking forward to reading it, but I'm hoping to get to this within the next couple of months or so. The Lucky Ones, which is one that I have read. This is about a main character. It's YA contemporary. The main character survives a school shooting. She is in the music room one day looking in a cupboard when a shooter comes in and kills her classmates, including her twin brother, and she survives and she feels a lot of survivor's guilt. There's another main character called Zach who goes to the same school as the main character, and he's now involved in this case because his mother is defending the shooter. She's a lawyer and she is trying to help his case. So everyone at school kind of hates Zach, everyone at school kind of hates the other main character, May, because she's really angry and aggressive, and kind of understandably so, but their classmates don't really understand that entirely. So the book is about them coming together and May healing from what she experienced and Zach kind of dealing with his family troubles. The Silence of Bones, which is one that I'm super excited for and I might put it onto my June TBR. It's set in Korea during the 1800s, and all I know about it, because I don't really read the synopses for thrillers or mysteries, is the main character gets involved in a police investigation. She has to try to solve a murder. I think it's a really original setting for American YA, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. What I Like About Me. This is YA contemporary as well because it's the season for YA contemporaries. The main character has an internet best friend. She also has a YA book blog, which I think is really cool, and she writes under a pseudonym, and one day she bumps into her internet best friend in real life, but he doesn't realise that it's her. So I think it's going to be a internet best friends to lovers kind of story. I'm really looking forward to reading this one, particularly because it's about a main character with a book blog. It sounded better in my head. In this one, I think the main character is feeling really lonely because her parents are breaking up and divorcing and her two best friends are getting together, so I think she feels really left out, and I'm not sure if she was interested in one of those best friends as well, which is probably a double hit for her. A Breath Too Late, which sounds very hard-hitting. It's about a main character who commits suicide and she then has an out-of-body experience, kind of like Before I Fall, I think. Those are the vibes I'm getting anyway, and I am looking forward to reading this one, but I'm waiting until I'm in the mood for more of a hard-hitting book before I read it, because I think this is one of those ones that I need to be in the right mind space for. The Loop. This one is about a boy called Luca who is in a prison that's controlled by an AI. He's due to be executed for whatever crimes he has committed, but they said if he agrees to take part in some medical experiments he will be allowed to live longer, so of course he agrees. Within the prison, unrest starts to spread and I think things kick off. I imagine Luca gets involved, tries to escape or something. I think it sounds really good, really action-packed. I'm looking forward to reading this one. Late to the Party. This one is again YA contemporary. Like I said, it's the season for it. This is about a main character and her best friends as they crash a party. At this party she sees a popular boy kissing another boy, and I think neither of them are out as gay. The main character, who is also gay, kind of uses this secret, I think, to get in with the popular crowd. So it's kind of like a blackmail thing going on, and I imagine the main character will learn from her mistakes and know that it's not okay to blackmail people about their sexuality. The Best Laid Plans, which is a very sex positive YA contemporary. In fact, I'm not entirely sure it's YA, maybe it's actually new adult, but don't quote me on that. So I don't know much about this book. Apparently the main character sets off on a kind of quest to lose her virginity. I don't know if this is going to be one that I pick up right away, but I do enjoy that it's sex positive for the teenagers who will be reading it. The Perfect Escape, which is one that I definitely want to pick up, mostly because of this cover. It says here that the main character is offered money to commit grade fraud, so I think he's taking tests or doing assignments for other people, and he works with a girl at a zombie escape room, which sounds amazing. There are a few of those in London, actually near where I live. I've always wanted to take part in one, but I don't actually have anyone to go with, and they're not even open at the moment. So this entire concept really excites me. It says in the description that the main character and this girl that he works with team up for a survival competition, survivalist competition, and I think it sounds like so much fun and a little bit different to a lot of the YA that I've been reading recently, so I'm definitely looking forward to picking this one up. In fact, I might put it on my June TBR. My June TBR is going to be off the walls at this rate. Unscripted, which is about a main character who wants to be a stand-up comedian. She ends up going to improv camp and she joins the varsity team, and she meets her coach who is older, but there's some flirtation there, and I don't know if it's going to be a problematic relationship or if he's not even that much older, or I'm not sure. I'm not dying to read this one, to be honest, but I will be looking out for some reviews to see if it's any good. And for the last April debut that I want to mention, I want to talk about Elysium Girls, which I do have an advanced reader's copy for. Again, I haven't read it because I'm behind on my review copies. In this one, there is some sort of supernatural death match between demons and witches. Apparently, a girl gang has to save the city, which is called Elysium, from supernatural beings, and I haven't really been in the mood for any paranormal recently, but now that I'm talking about it, I am quite hyped up to read it. So now we're moving on to the May debuts that I want to feature and possibly also read. The first one is The Fascinators, which I do have a review copy of, so I need to read that soon. This one is queer YA contemporary with a little bit of magical realism thrown in there as well. It says here that the main character, called Sam, is part of their school's magic club, and as senior year starts, cracks in the friendship group start to grow, and Sam, the main character, starts to fall in love with his best friend. Really looking forward to reading this one. Also, I love the cover. I think it's brilliant. The Mermaid, the Witch and the Sea. This one is about an orphan who becomes a pirate. It says that a lord's daughter stumbles across this pirate and together they form a bond, so I don't know if this is going to be queer, but if it is, that's really cool. There's another YA contemporary coming out, which is By the Book. I think the cover of this one is adorable. The main character is a massive reader and she's really a fan of classics. I think she tries to save a new girl from school from falling prey to the school's scoundrels, and it goes horribly wrong. I'm not sure I will be picking this one up right away, but it does sound quite cute. The Prisoner's Wife, which is adult romance, historical romance. I haven't read much about the description because I imagine since it's set during World War II, it's going to be about a prisoner of war camp, and the main character is a woman who's stuck in there. From what I've heard, it sounds as though the main character has to dress up as a man to try to survive and to be put in the same prison camp as her husband. Again, this isn't one that I'm going to pick up right away, but it does intrigue me. I've just kind of burnt out on World War II fiction at the moment, so I'm going to wait a bit until I decide to pick it up. Something to talk about. This one is an adult contemporary, and it sounds quite fun. I do have a review copy of this one. Still haven't read it, but I'm hoping to get to it soon. This one is about a Hollywood showrunner and her assistant who fuel a rumour, and then the gossip sites all start talking about it. There's some sort of scandal involved that jeopardizes a promotion and one of the main characters' new movie. I actually really enjoy reading stories set in Hollywood if they're written well, so I am looking forward to reading this one and I'm quite excited to pick it up. The Henna Wars, which is another YA contemporary. This one is about two young girls who are teenagers and they have rival henna businesses, or at least their families do, and they're also both Muslim and they fall in love with one another, but I don't think either of them are out. At least one of them definitely isn't, because her parents are probably not going to accept her. I'm not sure about the other main character. I think this one sounds like Tweet Cute but queer and Muslim, so I think it sounds really good and I can't wait to pick it up. I'm hoping to pick it up by the end of June because I really want to talk about this one. The Fire Thief. This one is a thriller, so I don't really want to go into too much detail about it because I always tend to spoil myself when I read the synopses for thrillers, but it's an adult thriller. It's set on Maui and it's about a detective, mostly because of the setting. I am dying to read this one because I haven't really read many books set in Hawaii, and it's somewhere that I really want to go once all of this corona business is over. The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly. This one is YA contemporary as well. It sounds adorable. It's about two teenagers who work in a medieval themed restaurant, and the restaurant is kind of sexist and they only allow guys to be knights, but the main character, Kit, wants to be a knight. So one day she takes her brother's place as a knight and she gets into a whole ton of trouble when she is found out, and I think it's going to be a very feminist, sweet story and I'm really excited to read this one. Stay Gold, which is another YA contemporary. It says here that this one is perfect for fans of David Leviathan, Becky Abtali and Jenny Han. So that's a whole load of really popular authors. All I know about this one is it's YA contemporary. It's about a transgender boy who starts a new school and a cisgender girl who takes an interest in him, and I think he's kind of keeping things under the radar. He doesn't really want to break it to this girl yet. Admittedly, I haven't read many books about transgender teens, so I'm looking forward to reading this one and I might pick it up when it comes out. The Boy in the Red Dress. This one is historical fiction. It's set in 1929. The synopsis for this one is quite confusing actually. It mentions a lot, but from what I can tell, the main character Millie is running a show. A body shows up and then they have to investigate a murder, they being the main characters. So it sounds like a lot to unpack in this one. I am looking forward forward to reading it, but I don't really read much YA historical fiction, so I need to really be in the mood for that one. And finally we have The Paper Girls of Paris, which I also have a review copy for and I will be getting to eventually. It's just I haven't had time or I haven't been in the right mindset. So I think this one is told in dual timelines. One of the main characters is called Alice and she's spending the summer in Paris. Her grandmother left her an apartment in Paris and Alice, this is actually really tricky to say. Alice previously didn't know this apartment existed, nor did the rest of the family, so Alice wants to investigate and she is wondering why the apartment has been left there for 70 years without anyone knowing. And then I think in the other timeline there is a main character called Adeline who is living in Nazi-occupied Paris, and I imagine there is something to do with the apartment in there. I am really looking forward to reading this one. I know I just said that I don't read many YA historical books, but for this one it really intrigues me because of the dual timelines. I love that it's set partly in present day and the main character is investigating something that happened 70 years ago, so I'm really intrigued by this one and I can't wait to pick it up. That is it. I've been recording for nearly half an hour now. I am hot. I need to go and take a quick break before I record any more. I'm really excited about some of these debuts. Let me know in the comments below which books you're most looking forward to reading, which debut authors you're really intrigued by. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll be back in a couple of days with a new one. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.